Welcome back to the Black and Gold Report. We're now at Luther Britt Park in Lumberton, North Carolina with head men's and women's cross country coach Gary Aycock. Coach, welcome to the show.
Pleasure to have you.
Coach, you retired both Pardon LaVue and Livia Mahaffey from last year's squads, two of your top runners both on the men's and women's side, but you've brought in a slew of new distance runners to join the teams. Who have you identified that will step up and be contributors this year?
Well, it's going to be hard for any of these freshmen to step up and fill the shoes of Livia and Pardon. But on the women's side, I think we've done a pretty good job with our recruiting efforts last recruiting season to bring in a very strong and talented class. One of the best freshman athletes on the women's side that we have coming in is Abby Culp. Abby has just recently moved from Maryland to Pinehurst, North Carolina. In Maryland, she was, as a senior athlete in track and field, she was the 3,200 meter indoor and outdoor champion in Maryland. So she's going to make an immediate impact with the women's team. She has the ability to break the 5K record, the UNCP 5K record as a freshman. So that's really exciting. We also have Catherine George from Chesapeake, Virginia. Catherine comes from a pretty strong running program in Chesapeake, and she is expected to make an immediate impact, as well as Leah Tardenenko from Miami, Florida. Again, these girls were recruited to replace the seniors that led the team to the qualification to the national championships last year. And no doubt that I think our women's team this year, we're very young, but we're as talented as the team was that qualified for nationals last year.
Talking about the women's team, you had just mentioned you advanced to the national championship race. You have three returning veterans from last year's team on this year's team. How will they contribute to the leadership to show your newcomers that you've got? How will that help your team this year?
Well, you know, we really don't have a veteran squad. Again, we're a very young team. We have junior Kendra Dorn, we have sophomore Savannah Fornshell, and sophomore Kendall Boykin. And the biggest thing is that they've been huge as far as their leadership roles go with the women and helping them transition from, you know, the high school student athlete to the collegiate ranks. And I just think their leadership and the way they lead the team in practice and in the classroom is going to be instrumental in helping these girls adjust to being successful collegiate distance athletes. And again, they have experience in big races. They qualified to the national championships last year, and that experience will help, you know, lead this team to great things this year.
So now on the men's side, you have three returning starters again, three contributors from last year on your team. Have you identified your leaders there? And if so, how are they setting an example for your newcomers?
Well, just as I discussed with the women's program, the men's pretty much, from a roster standpoint, is in the same place. We have one junior, Andrew Wynn, and we have two sophomores, Matt Reith and Tyler Moore. Both of these guys raced very well last year, transitioned well to 8,000, 10,000 meters from what was contested as the high school senior. Been huge in their leadership roles with the incoming freshmen. We also have a transfer with us this year, Joel Johnson from Bryan College last year. Joel did very well at the NAIA ranks, and he's definitely going to be making an immediate impact within our roster this year. We have two somewhat local high school standouts from Pinecrest High School. We have Will Pearson and Beckett Killam. Both raced very well with Pinecrest. Raced for Jeff Moody, who was national champion here at UNC Pembroke, All-American here. So I know that they've been well coached, and that's really going to help them in their transition to the longer distances that the men race at the collegiate ranks.
We talked about your new faces on the men's and women's side, but let's talk about your coaching staff. You have a brand new assistant coach this year in Steve Carney, and Matt Thompson from the men's track team's been helping you out this year too. What qualities and knowledge do they bring to your staff, and how is that going to help you out throughout this season?
Well, Coach Carney is also an alum of UNCP who ran with Jeff Moody back in what I consider the glory days of cross country and track and field at UNCP. They were a championship class at the national level, and after graduation, Coach moved to Arizona, where he's been coaching high school cross country for the past 20-some years, and one of the most successful women's cross country programs in Arizona. So, wanted to volunteer with the team this year. I had coached his daughter Megan in recent years, and he just is unbelievable motivator. Day in and day out of practice and with what we're trying to do with academic oversight in the classroom. Matt, graduate assistant, strength and conditioning specialist with cross country and track and field, and again, really takes a sport-specific approach to what we do in the weight room, just, you know, in the periphery of what we do with our overall training in our program.
All right, Coach, let's take a look at some of these tutorials.
Today we have Abby Culp and Kendall Boykin doing the demonstration, and I try to get the athletes to understand that running is a linear sport. Many runners spend a great deal of time twisting their upper bodies, fighting the efforts of the lower body. I typically ask the athletes to think of a zipper line on the running jacket down the center of their torso. If their hands cross that zipper line, the shoulders and the top half of the body usually follow the hands. The torque created by the waist up energy is that could usually be used, energy that could be used to help them ultimately run faster. Again, basically I have them concentrate on keeping their hands relaxed. A teaching cue I use is to imagine holding a Pringles potato chip. Keep it light. We're not wasting a lot of energy within the arm muscles and gripping the chip. Keeping, again, hands not passing the center line of the body, thumbs lightly brushing the waistline. The head above the shoulders, shoulders above the waist, and the waist over the midfoot strike.
All right, thanks, Coach, so much for being on the Black and Gold Report today.
Sure.
And thank you for watching this week's edition of the Black and Gold Report. Until next week, go Braves.